What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today we are going to talk about the new meta of Destiny's multiplayer. And before we even begin talking about it, I want to mention that this new meta has only been out for 24 hours. It's very new. As these things develop, as the community kind of becomes more aware of different weapons and how they've been affected, these things are subject to change. And while I definitely wanted to talk about it today, I'm definitely not ready to make any final decisions or talk about what's the best type of weapon, any of that kind of stuff. All of that is subject to change, especially since we've definitely seen that there are some errors between what Bungie said was going to be in this update and what actually happened in this update. Auto rifles are especially notable for this because in the patch notes we were told they'd be getting a damage buff. However, once we got the game into our hands, it appears that didn't happen. However, I will say that auto rifles appear to be more stronger. They feel stronger because other weapons got nerfed a little bit, particularly pulse rifles. So when you compare how strong auto rifles were compared to how strong they are now, even though the damage numbers haven't changed, they feel stronger in the meta. Scout rifles are much the same. Because of the pulse rifle nerf, a lot of the pulse rifles are not killing nearly as quickly as they used to. So auto rifles, scout rifles, even hand cannons really have a chance to shine in that primary slot. So I've been playing a lot with auto rifles. It is fun again to use the auto rifles. It hasn't been fun in quite some time, and because of that pulse rifle nerf, you know, they really feel like they've come into their own. At this point, I kind of hope they don't get a damage buff because I think they may be too strong at that point. Right now, after 24 hours of playtime in the new beta, and that's not true, it's really probably 4 or 6 hours, it's just 24 hours since the meta has kind of become a thing, you know, they feel about right as far as time to kill goes. So if they get more damage, it may be a problem. In PvE, it may be okay, but in PvP, it may be a problem. All right, let's talk about pulse rifles. They received a huge damage nerf. And it feels it. You know, I jumped in with the Hawksaw. It didn't feel that different. I did notice that sometimes it didn't feel like I was killing quite as fast as I used to. But other weapons like the Ludmilla definitely feel a lot slower to kill. So depending on the weapon that you choose, depending on what your favorite pulse rifle was, you may see varying effects on that. I've heard 19% damage reductions on that Ludmilla with only about 2% on the Hawksaw. So it's really kind of up in the air. You're going to have to check out your favorite pulse rifle and see if it's any good anymore. Scout rifles feel very strong, very good right now. They didn't receive much of any changes, but since pulse rifles got nerfed, again, they feel like they've gotten stronger inside of the meta. I've really had a lot of fun jumping into games with the Mida multi-tool. That's a gun that I kind of abandoned since it was a year 1 weapon. And even though you can still use it in regular Crucible without any, you know, ill effect, I like to practice in regular Crucible for the times when it matters, like Iron Banner or Trials of Osiris. So I like to stick with the weapons I'll be using in those. Getting the Mida multi-tool back has been really fun. I really love the speed boost it gives to your character jumping around, running around. And it's a very accurate and deadly gun at most ranges. Up until the very closest ranges, it feels like a very deadly gun, and I really enjoy having it back. I think that's it. Oh, I want to talk about hand cannons a little bit. I haven't had extensive use with the hand cannons yet, so I'm not going to get too detailed into how they feel. From my limited experience, though, it does feel like they're a little bit stronger than they were in Update 2.0. At close ranges, they seem to be able to kill a little more consistently than they could before, and their kind of auto-aim, their aim assist seems to have been buffed a little bit back up to make it just a little bit easier to get those headshots. I will say that I've heard from multiple sources that the Hawk Moon is not feeling very good right now, so I haven't gotten a chance to play with the Hawk Moon, but it seems like people are pretty damn upset about what has happened to that gun, which has really been a favorite exotic in the Crucible for a long time. All right, let's talk about secondary shotguns. You can definitely feel the nerfs that have happened to shotguns. They don't feel like they're as fast to use as they were before. However, they are still effective. They still work as intended, I believe. I ran around with a shotgun for a couple of maps on close quarters maps. I was still able to get kills very quickly with them. But to me, it feels like the shotguns are a slightly more defensive weapon than they were before. However, if you were good at blink shotgunning, I think with only minor adjustments, you'll still be good at it. You'll just have to kind of watch for the slower equip times and all of that stuff. Fusion rifles. I was really excited about fusion rifles coming into this update. I will say they do feel better than they have in the past, but my past, you know, it's been a long time since I've used fusion rifles consistently. Really since the original meta of Destiny back in the year 1, the very early days of year 1, when fusion rifles were really good. I used to love fusion rifles. I still have a solid place in my heart for them because they just feel different than any other weapon type in any other game, to be honest with you. Having a whole type of weapon that needs to be charged to get a kill, it creates a really, let's say, complicated relationship between the user and the weapon. You really have to be strategic about using them correctly, especially if you're up against a shotgunner or a sniper. So I think they're a lot of fun. They don't seem to be as consistent as they were in the early days of year 1, but they're definitely more consistent than they have been in the past. But again, during the entire summer, I didn't use them much at all, and I haven't been using them much in 2.0. All I can say is that I am able to get kills with them. I would highly recommend high stability builds for your fusion rifle to make sure all those shots land on your target to get maximum damage out of it. All right. As far as sniper rifles go, I can't find any changes to them. They feel the same to me. I've heard reports that there are differences, but I don't feel any difference to them. If the auto aim has changed, I'm not a good enough sniper to know about it. To me, they're still good. They're going to still be good in the right hands. No Land Beyond is super fun to use. I'm glad to see that is back. And sidearms definitely got a speed increase. That is super nice. It's nice to be able to whip that thing out, finish off a kill if you ran out of ammo on your primary, or if you're using No Land Beyond, it makes a great secondary. It's super fun to use sidearms. They've always been fun to use, though. They've always brought out that Call of Duty quick-firing automatic pistol kind of feel for me, and it's always been fun to use. So, like I said before, these are just very early impressions on Update 2.1. I'm liking the new meta, but I always like the new meta when it's new. It's after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Will we still like it? Hopefully we will. Hopefully this is the most balanced meta we've seen so far in Destiny, but we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.